Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jake, and I'm pleased to be your host for today's Ryerson 101 session as part of Ryerson's virtual open house, and in fact, the last part of this open house. To start, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land on which Ryerson stands. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We read this acknowledgement at the beginning of important on-campus events and meetings, and even though we're not on campus right now, we still feel it important to acknowledge this history as one small part of Ryerson's commitment to decolonization and reconciliation. Ryerson has shifted to an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've put together a series of virtual sessions in order to share information and connect with you. Ryerson is working diligently to provide students with fulsome experiences while maintaining the health and safety of our community. A few Zoom housekeeping tips before we get started. We encourage you to ask questions. We have many faculty and staff members here to answer your questions. To do so, use the Q&A pod at the bottom of your Zoom window. Click the Q&A pod to open the dialog window and type your questions throughout the presentation. If you're having any audio or video issues, feel free to flag it in the Q&A pod and one of our staff members will assist you. You may rearrange the screen in any way that works best for you, and note that rearranging your screen does not impact the way that others are viewing this presentation. This presentation will be presented as well with closed captioning to ensure accessibility. If you require closed captioning, please select that option at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And we'd like to know who's joining us today. So I'm going to launch a poll, and this just sort of lets us know who you are. If you're maybe thinking about joining us next year in fall 2021, if you're thinking about applying in the future, if you're maybe a parent of a student who's interested in Ryerson, these are just the sorts of things that we like to know that sort of help our purposes. So we really appreciate that. And without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Samantha from Student Recruitment to start the presentation. Sam, take it away.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Jake. And hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. So as Jake mentioned, my name is Samantha. I use she or her pronouns. I'm a recruitment officer with Ryerson University and a very proud graduate from Ryerson's journalism program. Today, I'm here to talk to you about what your future could look like if you decide to choose Ryerson for your university education. So we're going to be talking about the downtown Toronto location of our campus and how we see that as an asset when it comes to connecting you with the leaders in every single industry. I'll be talking about co-ops, internships, international exchanges, research opportunities, field trips, labs, all the things to get you those tangible hands-on experiences to make you a leader in the workplace and to get you a job as soon as you graduate. I'll be talking about scholarships and how you can get your hands on some free money, as well as how you actually apply to the university and what we are looking for from you as applicants. Now, I know Jake already touched on this, but I just want to mention again that Ryerson has shifted to an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, although the majority of our classes have shifted to an online format, we do continue to monitor the situation and follow official health guidelines. And we do continue to work behind the scenes for our current students, as well as prospective students like yourself, to make sure all the questions that you have do get answered, I should say. And we think we've been really resilient, as have our amazing students with this shift. So some of the different ways that we've shifted to accommodate this new online learning format are right here. One of them I like to mention is offered in our Creative Industries program. So Dr. Chris Alexander, he actually teaches video games as part of our Creative Industries program. And one of the classes he teaches is all about Twitch streams. What better way to teach that class than actually offering it through the model of Twitch? So you're really immersed and embracing that element and that learning platform by actually being in it while you're learning all about Twitch. We also have one of our professors in the new media program, Professor Alexandra Ball. She encourages her students to take part in student lounges for socialization, but rather than holding those through Zoom, she actually encourages her students to use Minecraft. So they get on Minecraft together, they create their virtual avatars, and they get to world build and create these different realms where they get to socialize with each other just using Minecraft. And then over in our Faculty of Science, we have pivoted to start offering some augmented reality labs. So you're still able to do some of those experiments that you'd be doing in the class. So I'm going to play a quick video to show you what that looks like. I forgot to unmute myself. Although we're now officially not on Ryerson's campus right now, there's tons of new and exciting things going on at Ryerson that I'd love to share with you. To start, we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of opening our Daphne Coxwell Health Sciences Complex. So the first 8 floors of this brand new building are brand new labs and facilities for our nursing program, our midwifery program, our nutrition and food program, our occupational health and safety and public health programs. And then on top of that is 19 floors of brand new apartment style of residence space. So far our students are really loving engaging with that building. Next up, we have some brand new double major options within our Faculty of Arts. Now, previously you could just do a double major in English and history and philosophy and English, but we have expanded the offerings to what is listed here in our PowerPoint presentation. And the great thing about these double major options is you don't have to decide if you want to do a double major when you're making your applications. You do have to decide on at least one program that you would like to major in, but once you get to Ryerson and you get to try out some classes from these different programs, the faculty and staff members will help you make that process or make that change if you are interested in pursuing that double major with the double majors that are listed in the PowerPoint. And last but certainly not least, we're so excited to be launching a brand new degree. We do have a brand new Bachelor of Fine Arts in Professional Music that is launching this year. This program is great for students who are looking to thrive in the modern music industry. You will be taking courses in things like music fundamentals, live production, studio production, as well as the business side of the music industry. So we're really excited about this. And if you're interested in seeing more, I would encourage you to check out the Ryerson at Home page. Shortly, we will be posting all of the videos from our virtual open house, and Professional Music had a session as part of our open house. So if you want to know more, check that out. Something that's not new though, and something that we've been offering since day one at Ryerson University is providing our students with tangible, experiential, hands-on learning opportunities. Now, hands-on learning comes in so many different ways at Ryerson, but one of the ways that we offer it to our students is through a rather robust co-op program. What is co-op? Well, it's actually paid work experience. If you participate in a co-op at Ryerson, you're traditionally going to be adding a 5th year to your degree. So rather than a 4-year degree, it's now a 5-year degree because you're in school and then you're working back and forth, or you're spending 12 to 16 months straight working in the field, depending on the format of the co-op that's part of your program. But it is paid work experience. Students make an annual salary of just under $37,000. So it's a great way to finance your education. But even more so, you're getting your foot in the door at up to 4 different places. So it's a great way to get that real world experience before you've left the 4 walls of Ryerson University. So some examples of co-op that we have is in our chemistry program. Students work for companies like Apotex Pharmaceuticals or even MAC Cosmetics. Over in our computer engineering program, we've had students work for companies like IBM and Google. And over in our accounting program, we've had students working for companies like Ernst & Young or Deloitte. We also offer internships at Ryerson, and I myself am a proud product of an internship. So in my 4th year of the journalism program, I did an internship with the National Post, which is one of Canada's largest newspapers. And what I'll quickly backtrack and mention is with an internship, it's incorporated into the 4 years of your degree. So you're not adding time to your degree. It's incorporated within those 4 years. But again, I was doing my internship in my 4th year at the National Post, which is one of Canada's largest newspapers. I love movies. I'm a huge movie fan. So I told my editors that, and they said, perfect. Why don't you go cover the Toronto International Film Festival for us? So I was at the film festival, which is also quite convenient because we actually hold the film festival on the Ryerson campus. We do have one of these screening venues, so it's great for students in programs like journalism or even film studies for networking opportunities. It was great for me though, because I was at the film festival doing the red carpets, seeing movies, interviewing celebrities. It was great for me personally because it was fun and it was something I was really passionate and excited about, but it was great for me professionally because I met so many people from the industry I was going into, made some really valuable network connections. And by the time I finished that internship, I was offered a job. So again, great things can come from those co-ops and those internships. We also have tons of research at Ryerson, over 125 different research centers and labs where students get to work with their professors on some pretty fun stuff. Personally, my favorite research is over in our psychology program at Ryerson. They actually have over 30 different research labs within psychology, so you really get to specialize in the area of research you're most passionate about. I'm passionate about research to do with anxiety. And within the anxiety lab that they have in our psychology program, they actually work with virtual reality. So they use the Oculus Rift, which is pictured right here, or the Samsung Gear 360 headset. They'll actually bring in individuals who have some sort of fear. So they'll bring in someone with a fear of storms, for example. They'll hook them up to the virtual reality headset. They'll simulate whatever that fear is. And then our students and our professors will try different methods to help treat that fear. Our fashion program also has some really cutting edge research. So our fashion program is really exciting. They have something called the Fashion Research Collective, and that actually features work and design pieces from designers such as Dior, Balenciaga, and Chanel. Even cooler than actually just working with those pieces, though, is your professors really encourage your students to do research specifically on things like anti-colonialism and decolonization, sustainability, and diversity within fashion, because those are some of the founding pillars of our fashion program here at Ryerson University. Hands-on learning, it's also just going to your classes and doing whatever it is that you're studying. That is a key component of how we function as an institution. So no matter which of our 62 undergraduate programs you're studying at Ryerson University, when you're going to your classes, you're getting those hands-on experiences as part of your learning experience every single day. So over in our medical physics program, for example, medical physics is all about radiation and oncology. So students get to use machines for medical imaging and diagnostics. They actually have those machines as part of their classes. So MRI machines and things like that at a smaller scale. Our students are able to work with those. And that way, when they're doing their co-ops as part of that program in some of the hospitals that are right around the Ryerson campus, they know all the tech and they're ready to lead the way in those co-op opportunities. Students in our film studies program, it's called film studies, but it is creating and making film every single year. By the time you're in fourth year, you're working on up to 6 different student films, and you get access to the red cameras. Those are the cameras that they actually use to film movies such as The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese, or Captain Marvel. We have those at Ryerson, and we have access to those for our students. What's pictured in the PowerPoint is one of our amazing nursing students, which is also extremely hands-on. Now, nursing does clinical placements every single year as part of the program, but before they do those placements, we want them to be leaders and feel fully prepared and ready. So when they go to their classes, they're set up exactly to look like a hospital. We have all the hospital beds. We have all the medication that students have to learn how to administer. And then our students work on robotic mannequins that are controlled by their professors in another room. So they do simulations like a heart attack. We have some of the mannequins that can actually give birth. They even release bodily fluids, which I think is gross, but it's awesome for our nursing students because they see everything in the classroom. They make their mistakes, they learn. It's really small class sizes, so you're getting that intimate experience with your professors. And that way, when they're doing their clinical placements, they are ready to be leaders and continue to grow the strong reputation of our Ryerson University students. Hands-on learning also comes into play with something rather unique that we have here at Ryerson, and that is called zone learning. So at Ryerson, we have 10 different zones, which are business incubators, or even more simply put than that, they're like open community workspaces where you can take a business idea that you have and grow it. By the time you graduate from Ryerson, you can essentially be the CEO of your own company. We have 10 different zones at Ryerson, which are listed right here. And again, you'll bring your idea into one of our 10 different zones. You'll gain industry mentorship because we have a bunch of industry members tied to these zones, and they're part of the advisory boards for these zones, and they're well connected with these zones. You'll grow your business. Those mentors can get you investors for your company. So by the time you graduate, it's like you are the CEO of your own company. Or again, if you're just interested in startup culture, you can join a company that is in one of the 10 different zones. When you see the zones, you can see that they are more so industry specific, but that being said, they always encourage cross-disciplinary action between the zones. One example of this is in our fashion zone. We had a business management student and his brother bring their company to the fashion zone. They had an idea for a company to do temporary tattoos that last on your arm for like 2 or 3 weeks, an extended amount of time. So they brought their idea to the fashion zone. They worked on it. They had some amazing industry mentors. They ended up getting $10 million in seed funding while they were in that zone. Now they've graduated and they have multiple storefronts in the downtown core of Toronto, and that company is called Inkbox, and they actually did all the temporary tattoos for the TV show Stranger Things. I think the biomedical zone is really interesting as well because they actually have affiliations with 10 different teaching hospitals in Toronto. So students who are working on companies in the biomedical zone, they actually have access to test their medical devices or the companies that they're using on patients within the hospitals. We're pretty well known for our DMZ, which stands for the Digital Media Zone, formerly known as the Digital Media Zone. It's actually housed in the former Google Canada headquarters right at Yonge and Dundas Square. I was voted the #1 university-based incubator in North America and top 2 in the world. So people know us for it, and it's a pretty exciting spot and definitely something you can get involved with if you decide to come to Ryerson. We have a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities at our institution. Hands-on learning also comes into play when it comes to the location of our campus. So if you did not know this already, we are located in the dead center of downtown Toronto. We're right at the corner of Yonge and Dundas Square, which is one of the busiest intersections in North America and one of the most diverse cities in the world, according to the BBC, and one of the most livable cities in the world, according to The Economist. And we love it for so many different reasons. One of the reasons, being in the middle of downtown Toronto, it means we have amazing neighbors. We are surrounded by the fashion district, the film district, or the entertainment district. Our Ted Rogers School of Management, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, is our business school. It's located on Bay Street. If you walk 2 blocks south, you are right at the corner of Bay and King, which is the heart of Toronto's financial district and Canada's financial district. We've got legal firms, architectural science, and interior design firms. They're all right at our fingertips. Because of this, all of your professors still work in those respected industries, so they're bringing you the most relevant experience and information every single day as part of the way that they teach their classes. Because of this, it's also really easy for us to bring in guest lecturers from these industries, the folks who are at the top of their game, into the classroom to teach your classes. So I love sports, and I thought it was really amazing. We had Masai Ujiri, president of your championship Toronto Raptors. He actually came in and talked about women in leadership roles, because the Raptors, that's one of the priorities within their company. So that was a really awesome lecture that I got to listen to. Over in the journalism program, we did a really cool partnership with the CBC, where we actually got to do a Skype session with Edward Snowden, one of the exiled whistleblowers. We got to hear from him, interview him, ask him questions. It was an amazing experience. And the only reason we had that experience is because the CBC knows us. They know our students. They know we have all the facilities and all the technical capabilities to put these events on, and they want to work with us and our students. Another great thing about the city, or hands-on learning with the city, is we use the city as an urban lab space. So once again, no matter what program you decide to study at Ryerson University, you're going to get to go out into the city of Toronto and use the city as part of your studies. So over in our retail management program, when the NBA All-Star Game was happening in downtown Toronto, our retail management students actually got to work with Adidas on some of the pop-up installations that were part of the NBA All-Star Game, which is really fun. Some other examples of this are our performance acting, dance, and production students. They, of course, put on their own productions as part of their program, but they actually go out into the entertainment district and see plays and musicals to supplement what they're already doing as part of their program. The last thing I'll say about the city of Toronto is it's a very fun place to study. We do understand that you want to go to university to get a world-class education, and you will absolutely be doing that by choosing Ryerson University. But we also want you to have a life. We want you to go to concerts, eat food from around the world, engage with a very diverse community, and get to do all of that when you're studying in a vibrant city such as Toronto. My friends and I, we would write a paper, and then we'd go over to our student campus center and buy a discounted Cineplex movie ticket. And we'd go to Yonge and Dundas Square to the movie theater that's there that actually also acts as a lecture hall for our students. So we might have a lecture in the morning, and then in the evening, we're going to see the latest blockbuster. We would go buy a discounted Raptors ticket and walk 15 minutes up the street to the Scotiabank Arena and go see a Raptors game for a little bit cheaper. There's always the biggest musicians in town and the smallest ones. And of course, there's food from around the world. So it's a great city and a great complement to the education that you will be getting at Ryerson University. Of course, when you're on our campus, or even when you're studying virtual with us, we want you to feel like the campus is your home and make the most out of your campus. So there's tons of different ways to get involved in campus life, again, whether you're physically on our campus or while we're studying virtually. What I want to mention while this picture is up too is a lot of people think that Ryerson is just this concrete jungle, but we do have green space, which is pictured right here. This space is called our quad. It's surrounded by the 4 halls of Kerr Hall, so lecture space. When you're in the middle of our green space, which is in the middle of our campus, you can actually still see the CN Tower. So you're still reminded of the amazing city that you are studying in, but people bring their students, bring their dogs out here. People are playing Frisbee out here. We have a trampoline team at Ryerson, and they bring out their trampolines and do performances. So we do have green space, which is a nice little oasis away from the hustle and bustle of the exciting parts of the city. Of course, there's tons of different ways to get involved in community life at Ryerson and make our university your home. One of those ways is by joining a student group or a club. We have over 80 different student groups. They're faith-based, food-based, culture-based. Some I like to mention are the Black Students Alliance, the Indigenous Students Association. There is the K-pop group. Esports has over 300 members, so it's a really active community. There's even a poker club where they normally get together and play poker in a lecture hall. And I can only assume that's pivoted to a virtual format now because the poker players love to play. If we don't have a club that you're interested in starting, there's so much opportunity to do that as well. That's one of the most exciting parts about going to university is you're going to meet a number of different students from around the world who have similar interests as you and want to start that club. So definitely ample opportunity to do that. Another great way to make the campus your home and to embrace campus community life is through athletics and recreation. Perhaps you love to work out. Maybe you're like me and you don't love to work out. There's reasons for all of us to use the athletic centers, but even more so feel welcome with athletics at Ryerson. We have 2 athletic centers and they're really easy to remember because they're called the RAC and the MAC. The RAC is the Recreation and Athletic Center, and I'm just going to flip it back 2 slides because it's actually underground in the dead center of our campus. With this picture, you can actually see a little bit of the opening for the RAC, but it's 3 floors underground in the middle of our campus. So there's a 6-lane swimming pool, squash courts, and gym equipment. You can take courses and things, so things like dance, kickboxing, spinning, yoga. It's all part of your tuition, so you can start taking those courses. And again, with our virtual environment, those courses have just shifted to an online format, so still tons of ways to get involved with athletics and recreation through that. The other athletics center that we have at Ryerson is pictured here. This one's called the MAC, the Mattamy Athletic Center. Most people know it as Maple Leaf Gardens. So this is where the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey team was actually founded and first played before they opened the Scotiabank Arena. So the building has some really exciting history to it. Elvis, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones, they've all played concerts in this building. Muhammad Ali has fought in this building. Very first NBA game ever was played here actually, and the very first NHL All-Star game was played in this building. So cool place to go just to take in some history. But of course, this is also home to our varsity athletics. You can use a gym here, or you can come here to cheer on one of our varsity teams. We have a number of different varsity sports at Ryerson, and something that's amazing about them is they're all quite strong. So it's always nice to cheer on a team that's doing really well. If you want to take part in varsity athletics, each of the different team holds open tryouts. You can absolutely get involved in that. Of course, we also have recreational athletics. So for more of the relaxed style of sporting, everything from volleyball to hockey to inner tube water polo, which is water polo that's actually played on a floaty. It's really fun because nobody's good at it. So it's a great way to get involved at Ryerson. You can also just hang out at the athletic center and study. If you're like me, I got a job at the athletic center, so it's a great way to work on campus. But it's a cool spot because you never know who you're going to see when you're on our campus. For example, we were one of the host venues for the Invictus Games. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle actually made their relationship public on our university, which is really fun. Again, I love sports, so I was personally pretty impressed that we had LeBron James, player for the Los Angeles Lakers. He was in town for Drake's Music Festival OVO, and he needed somewhere to work out. So he actually called up Ryerson to use our gym. So if it's good enough for LeBron, we hope it's good enough for all of you as well. But you can be the judge of that if you take a virtual campus tour and see our spaces for yourself. No matter what you're doing at Ryerson, we want you to feel supported. So we have a number of different student support spaces and support groups to help all of our students feel at home and feel like they can perform at their best while they're at Ryerson. If you have had the fortune of being in downtown Toronto, maybe you've been to the big mall, the Toronto Eaton Centre, you might have seen a glass building across the street, and that's actually us, that's our building. That is the Student Learning Center, the Sheldon and Tracy Levy Student Learning Center, or the SLC is what I will be referring it to from now on. The SLC is 8 floors of student workspace. 2 of those workspaces are pictured in the PowerPoint. So on your right hand of your screen, we have the 8th floor, which is called the Sky, because it has an amazing view of the skyline of downtown Toronto. Not pictured as the 6th floor, which is called the Beach. I'm not going to tell you why it's called the Beach. I do encourage you to take a tour of the SLC and find out for yourself. And then on the left-hand side, we have the 4th floor, which is student learning support. So that's where you can go for group tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, math support, and English support. Maybe you need help learning how to take notes a little bit better at university. We can absolutely help you do that. We also have accessibility accommodations for any type of accessibility accommodation that we can provide to you to help make your life a little bit easier at Ryerson. We can put those in place. We also have mental health and well-being counselors on hand if you ever want to talk about something that's going on in your life. And again, all of these services has shifted to an online format for the current format of study that we have. We even have therapy dogs where once a week we have therapy dogs on our campus. You have an hour to hang out with the puppies, take your Instagram photos. It's a great way to get your mind off of whatever it is that's going on in your life. But of course, we have people to talk to as well. And again, the therapy dogs have shifted to an online format. Equity, diversity, inclusion is also something that's really important to us at Ryerson. We know we have lots more that we need to do and tangible action needs to be taken, but these are some of the supports in place that we have towards equity, diversity, and inclusion. So some of those supports include Ryerson Pride, which puts on some really fun events. We have the Good Food Center, which tackles food inequality. Disorientation does some events during orientation week. And I would like to take a moment because the slide is up to acknowledge that it is Trans Day of Remembrance. Another great way to make the campus your home is to physically live on our campus. So we do have 3 residence buildings at Ryerson, as well as 1 partnership building. I myself lived in residence when I was in first year at Ryerson. The building I lived in is called the International Living and Learning Center. It's a really cool space because it's like living in a hotel, because it was a hotel before Ryerson bought it. So I had my own room I didn't share with anyone, had my own bathroom. I had a queen size bed, which for me is bigger than the bed at my parents' house. So I loved it. It was amazing. Second style of residence we have is called Pittman Hall, which is like your most classic style of residence. It's apartment style. So you can either have someone living in your residence room with you, or you can live in an apartment style where you each have your own rooms. You're sharing a common little kitchenette and a common little bathroom. Third style we have, I already mentioned earlier in the presentation, was Daphne Coxwell, or the DCC for short. DCC is also apartment style, but it's a brand new residence space, so it's a really nice spot. And then our 4th building is our partnership building, which is called Home. Again, I'd encourage you all to check out the residence page on the Ryerson website to see floor plans, to see housing prices, and to see which space could be your future home. Of course, if you want to leave our campus, we don't blame you, because Ryerson has some amazing global learning and international exchange opportunities. Now, of course, global learning has been put on pause with COVID-19, but again, we're still able to interact with the world around us. We actually have a number of different ways that students are able to get international opportunities from the comfort of their own homes. One of those ways is called the Global Campus Network, and this is actually something we've had established like long before COVID started. It's a great network where we have connections with some of our institutions from around the world, and we're able to simultaneously put on newscasts or different performances and dances and things like that. So in our performance dance program, I know they had a group of students putting on a ballet production, and they're able to quickly, seamlessly pass it off to a group across the world who are able to finish that production, which is really cool. So we have that. In programs that have traditionally international opportunities, such as our urban and regional planning program, those students typically take trips, field trips, and they get to meet some of the urban planners from around the world, because a lot of them are our Ryerson graduates, which is really exciting. But we're still able to connect with those folks, such as this semester, we're connecting with some of the urban planners in Amsterdam, for example. So still able to get some of those global learning experiences while we can't travel. But we are looking forward to the day when we can travel again, because we have amazing exchange opportunities. Ryerson has partnerships with 133 universities in 37 different countries. So the sky's really the limit as to where you want to go if you did want to go on an international exchange. And you can do so by spending either a semester or sometimes even an entire year abroad. Personally, I didn't go abroad, but my friends did. So they went places like Kyoto, Singapore, the Netherlands, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Great way to travel the world, gain a global perspective, and bring that back to the Ryerson classroom, because we love to see our students quite globalized. Maybe you're interested in going international, but you don't want to commit to an entire international exchange. You can do so by taking a course that has a field trip component tied to it. So in our environment and urban sustainability program, those students go to Amsterdam and Iceland, where they look at sustainability issues, so things like water treatment in Iceland or the use of bikes in Amsterdam. A really popular one, field trip, is called RTA in LA. So students within our Faculty of Communication and Design get to go on that trip within specific programs within FCAD. They actually get to go to Los Angeles for 2 weeks, where they study at the UCLA campus. While they're there, they're going through TV boot camps. They're meeting writers of TV shows, directors of TV shows, and showrunners. They tour some sets. So I know last year they got to tour the set of the TV show Moms, as well as the James Corden show. They get to talk with some TV network industry members. And the great thing about that is a lot of them are Ryerson graduates. So I know they were meeting with one of the writers for the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, so students get to pitch their own project to a panel of TV network industry members who can buy their project on the spot. So the best case scenario for those students is they kickstarted their careers by having their production bought. And of course, the worst case scenario is they got to go to Los Angeles, they made some amazing global network connections, and they usually come back with a tan, which is really fun. So tons of global learning opportunities. Or you can do those co-ops and those internships abroad or those placements abroad, because we love to see our students do that. For example, our early childhood studies program actually has the largest number of placements abroad, which is really exciting. So if you did a co-op abroad, I mean, that could be something like my friend in the journalism program doing their internship halfway around the world at the CBC in London, England. That could be something across the border, like my friend Victoria, who is working for the Charlotte Hornets NBA team in their communications department. The world is truly yours at Ryerson University. Of course, there are costs associated with all of these things and going to university. So it's really important that you talk to your guardians or your parents about how you are paying for your university education. We do have some of the costs and budget breakdowns listed here, but I definitely encourage you to check out the Ryerson website and look through some of those costs to help start planning your finances when it comes to your university education. One thing that we have in Ontario for our students who are coming to us from Ontario is OSAP, which is the Ontario Students Assistance Program. So that is grants, which is money you do not have to pay back, and loans, which is money you will have to pay back from the federal and provincial government. Great thing about OSAP is you can actually apply for OSAP and it'll automatically assess you for both features. And if you're not interested in taking out a loan, you can actually opt out of the loan just to see how much free grant money is there. Our financial services department at Ryerson does some really awesome webinar sessions. So if you check out the student financial support website, I definitely recommend checking out some of those sessions because the staff are really passionate about informing students how they can get their hands on as much money as possible. We are also passionate about that through our scholarships and awards. We want to reward you for all the hard work we know that you're doing. So we have tons of different scholarships in place for our students at Ryerson. First set of scholarships I'd like to talk about is our guaranteed and renewable entrance scholarships. So if you are a student who is looking to join us at Ryerson from a Canadian high school with at least an 80% overall average, you will be qualifying for one of our guaranteed entrance scholarships. These are scholarships you don't have to apply to. We get your final grades and we'll put that money in your Ryerson account and you can take it out as a check or you can use it towards your tuition costs. It's your money, it's totally up to you. Chart breaks down the the chart breaks down the scholarship amounts. So if you're looking at an 80% overall average, you're going to be getting $500 a year, 86 is $1,000 a year, a 90 is $2,000 a year, and a 95 is $4,000 a year. These amounts are renewable. So if you maintain that average at university, you're going to keep getting that money. So it's on you to see just how much free money that you can get from us at Ryerson. We do also have some more prestigious scholarships. So these are more lucrative scholarships that we have at Ryerson. One of those is called our President's Entrance Scholarship, and that one is worth $10,000 a year. It is renewable for all 4 years, so it's a $40,000 scholarship. We have 6 for international students and 6 for national students, so 12 in total. The deadline to apply for the scholarship is a little bit earlier in the game. We're looking at March 1st, 2021. So you might not have even formally heard back regarding a decision on your admissions to Ryerson and you're applying for the scholarship. But as you can see from the amounts that are part of the entrance scholarship, it is definitely worth your time to check that scholarship out. So please do that. And then the last thing I'll mention in terms of scholarships is our scholarship award system, which is called Award Spring. So with Award Spring, you're able to fill out some information about yourself using the scholarship portal, Award Spring. It's a bit of a lengthy process, but we're looking for quite a bit of information from you when you apply to that. But the great thing about that is once you apply to that, it'll automatically apply you towards any scholarship that you qualify for. It'll also flag any additional scholarship that you might qualify for, but requires some additional information, such as a cover letter or a resume or a reference letter. So all of our awards are housed on Award Spring. It's a great tool for our students and something you should absolutely look into and check out because we have tons of free money out there up for grabs for our amazing Ryerson students. We're at the point of my presentation when I want to make sure we are still active and alive. So I am about to launch a poll where I hear some information from you. So if I can just get my poll to show up. It takes a minute sometimes to get the little bar to show up. If not, I might have Jake, if you're around and eligible, if you might be able to launch my second poll for me because it's just not showing up. Oh, perfect. Amazing. Thank you, Jake. Okay, so it's a true or false, so it should be easy to answer. I'm curious, true or false, do you think you know exactly what you want to study at university? So true, I found what I'm passionate about and the program that fits me best. False, I'm still trying to figure it out. So I'll let it run for a little bit longer, and I think I'm going to cut it off right now. Okay, so we've almost got an even split. I'll quickly share the results. So almost an even split, 60-40. So 60% of you said true. I found what I'm passionate about and the program that fits me best. And then 40% said false. I'm still trying to figure that out. Okay, so if you selected true, amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. It's really exciting that you found something you think you're passionate about and you think that's going to be the best fit for you, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, finding the program that's the best fit. If you answered false, no worries at all. That's actually the position I personally was in when I was applying to school. I personally applied to 5 programs at 6 different universities because I had no idea where I wanted to go, let alone what I wanted to study. And while I was waiting to see if anyone accepted me, I did exactly what you're doing right now. So I went to different presentations, either virtual ones or in-person ones. I got admission handbooks for at least half the schools in Ontario, as well as some out-of-province ones. And I'll tell you a little bit later how you can get your hands on a Ryerson admissions handbook. And I actually did tours of campuses that I started to think could be a great fit for me. And with Ryerson, what it was for me, it was the idea of studying journalism where you get to do something new every single day. It was the idea of studying in downtown Toronto and seeing Sportsnet and TSN just up the street from our campus and all these industry leaders right there. And it was for taking a tour of residence and finding a building and being able to think, wow, I can actually picture myself in this space. Those are some of the things that helped me make my decision. One of the other things that helped me make my decision is figuring out what each university offered, because we're all a little bit different. So I'm going to go over the 6 undergraduate faculties that we have here at Ryerson University to give you an idea of what we offer. But I do encourage you to check out the link that's right here, which offers all of our undergraduate programs. I'm only going to name 1 or 2 programs from these faculties just to give you an idea. So that's why I encourage you to check out that link, because we do have 62 programs and we could have something that is the best fit for you. So I'll start with our Faculty of Arts, which are like our social change maker programs. That's where you can find programs such as our Geographic Analysis program. Now, when the Zika virus was a really prevalent virus at the time, our Geographic Analysis students were actually working with some of the doctors at St. Michael's Hospital, which is the hospital just up the street from the Ryerson campus, and they're helping them actually track the spread of the Zika virus as part of their classes. We also have a great program called Philosophy in our Faculty of Arts. Our philosophy students do a really cool course called Walls to Bridges, where they actually take the course in a local Toronto jail, and they're actually looking at the ethics of freedom with some of the prisoners that are in that jail. Next up, we have our Faculty of Community Services, which is like our Helping Hands programs. That's where you can find programs like our Early Childhood Studies program. Early Childhood Studies actually has a daycare facility on our campus. So not only are students learning all about childhood development and the theories, they actually get to interact with children as part of having the early daycare center right there on the Ryerson campus. And we also have affiliations with the Gerrard Street one, which is just up the street from the Ryerson campus. Another great program in the Faculty of Community Services is our social work program, which is quite popular at Ryerson. That program actually has a mandatory 840 hours of placements incorporated into that program. So before you've left the 4 walls of Ryerson University, you're walking away with so much real world experience. We have the Faculty of Communication and Design, which is an overall creativity hub. So students, no matter what program they're in that faculty, they're always coming together to work on some really exciting projects. One of those projects that they put on is called Mass Exodus. That is a large-scale student-run fashion show. So students who are studying fashion at Ryerson, they are taking concentrations as part of that program. So one of those concentrations is the fashion design concentration. Those students actually are sewing their year-end lines of clothing to be worn by the models down the runway. Students are in fashion, but focusing on communication. Those students are doing marketing and advertising for that event to make sure the industry professionals are in the seats to see that fashion show. Students in our Creative Industries program who are taking the fashion module, they might be getting involved with things like the budget planning for Mass Exodus. Students in our Photography Studies program, which is really popular here at Ryerson University. It's one of the oldest in Canada, actually. Those students are taking pictures of those models running down or walking down the runway as part of their projects and their assignments. Journalism students like myself, we were writing about it for the 2 school papers we have on the campus. So that's just an idea of how different programs within one faculty come together and work on some really exciting stuff. Next up is our Faculty of Engineering and Architectural Science, which is home to 9 different engineering programs, everything from aerospace engineering, which has 2 high-speed wind tunnels, to civil engineering, where you're in the concrete lab straight away in first year. down to mechanical engineering, which has a really cool club called Formula One Racing, where you actually get to build a Formula One race car and compete against other institutions across North America. We also have our architectural science program, which is a degree in architectural science. So it qualifies you to do the master's around the world or at Ryerson University. We'd love it if you stayed with us. Architectural science students actually function in their own building, which is a really cool spot because they get to really own and make that space their own. And they get their own drafting desks and tables every single year. So they really get that sense of community within the architectural science program, as well as an abundance of hands-on workshops and opportunities. We have the Faculty of Science, so research and discovery programs. That's where you can find programs like biomedical science. If you're interested in health sciences, that is what we call it at Ryerson, biomedical sciences. That's our program. We also have biology and chemistry and medical physics, as I already mentioned. And then we have some more mathy-based sciences. So anything from financial mathematics, if you're interested in stock market forecasting, which of course is very important, math and its applications, and then computer science as well. Really cool course in computer science at Ryerson is our students actually have to create a robot that dismantles a bomb on the Ryerson campus. Then last faculty in terms of undergraduate faculties is our Ted Rogers School of Management. That is our business school here at Ryerson, and it is one of the largest in English language speaking Canada. I already mentioned that Ted Rogers is on Bay Street, so you're really connected to the financial district and you get a ton of opportunities to engage within the financial district. Our programs at Ryerson are Bachelor of Commerce degrees. So we have everything from hospitality and tourism management, which not only has a co-op, it has a mandatory 1,000 hours of placement opportunities as part of that program. We have business technology management, which is a great pairing between ICT solutions and business solutions. Accounting and finance, where you get to study both accounting and finance. And then we have our business management program and retail management program. So again, check out the Ryerson website to see all of the different programs to see if one is the best fit for you. No matter what program you decide to study in the Ted Rogers School of Management, you are able to participate in a cool initiative called the Top 200, where the top 200 students in Ted Rogers get to go for networking lunches with CEOs in the downtown core. So always exposing you to industry professionals here at Ryerson University. The last faculty we have is not an undergraduate faculty because it is our law school at Ryerson. So our Faculty of Law, to qualify for law, you do have to complete an undergraduate degree before applying to law school. We do law a little bit differently at Ryerson. First of all, our law program is really focused on serving communities that have been marginalized by other folks in the past, as well as incorporating technology into revolutionizing the law industry. So tech boot camps and coding boot camps are all incorporated into our law. So a little bit different, but could be a great fit for you once you finish your undergraduate degree. So hopefully something might have sparked your interest and you might be interested in hearing how you actually become a Ryerson RAM, which I'm going to cover right now. First of all, in terms of admission requirements, we have two types of programs at Ryerson. We have grades only programs and we have grades plus programs. Our grades only programs are the programs here at Ryerson where we're just looking at your grades in terms of your admission into a program. If you're studying an Ontario curriculum, we're going to be looking at your 6th best grade 12 U-level or M-level courses to get your overall average to be competitive. If you're studying on a different curriculum, definitely encourage you to either ask it in our Q&A or to check out the Ryerson website to see exactly what we are looking for from you in terms of your overall average. We also have grades plus programs where grades are still important to us, but we're going to be looking for some non-academic requirements as well. So that could be a portfolio. Maybe you're interested in architectural science or interior design. That could be a personal essay. All of those non-academic requirements are listed quite in details on the Ryerson website, so I definitely encourage you to check that out. In terms of your grades, something we do a little bit differently at Ryerson is your prerequisites don't have to be included in your overall average. So again, if you're studying an Ontario curriculum, we're going to be looking at that 6th best grade 12 U or M level courses for the overall average. If one of your prerequisites isn't your top 6, no worries, doesn't have to be included in your overall average. As long as you're taking more than 6 courses, we'll consider whatever the 6 best are. You do have to have a minimum of between 70 to 75% in those prerequisites though. So try and ensure you're getting that, but of course the higher your grades is always best. Deadline to apply for guaranteed consideration to Ryerson is February 1st, 2021. That is the key date when it comes to us. So please try and get your applications in before then, because the deadline to apply for guaranteed consideration into all 62 programs at Ryerson. Once you apply, or when you apply, I should say, you will be applying through the OUAC, the Ontario University's Application Center. If you are studying at Ontario school, your guidance counselor might be giving you the PIN number. If you're not, you might have to go on the OUAC yourself and request a PIN number. But once you have that PIN number, you can start applying to schools. It's roughly between $150 to $165, again, depending on where you're applying from, to apply on the OUAC. Once you apply, you'll get to pick up to 3 programs at any one university. So if you love Ryerson, then you could apply to up to 3 programs at us. You can mix and match however you feel best. It's totally up to you. And once you've maxed out that 3, it's $50 for every additional application that you apply to. Once you apply to us through the OUAC, we send you something called the Choose Ryerson portal page. That is how we communicate with all of our prospective students. So look out for that acknowledgement email, because that should be coming to you once you apply. You'll be given a student number, and then that's how you activate your Choose Ryerson portal page. Again, this is how we communicate with all of our students. So don't be going to the mailbox and expecting some mail regarding a decision. Go to your inbox and your Choose Ryerson portal page, because that is how you will be getting your conditional offer from us at Ryerson. Also, how you're able to upload transcripts if you need to. Any non-academic requirements are most likely going to be posted to your Choose Ryerson portal page. So this is your bread and butter when it comes to applying to Ryerson. Make sure you're checking this quite often and make sure you are getting those documents to us through your Choose Ryerson portal page. For those of you who have been studying at an institution where English was not the first language, if you've been studying at an institution outside of Canada for more than 4 years, oh my goodness, you may be prompted to submit English proficiency requirements. They have changed. So if you've been looking at Ryerson previously and you've been looking at your English proficiency requirements, they have changed recently. So definitely check out the Ryerson website to see if you are required to submit English proficiency results. We take anything from IELTS, TOEFL, CAL, Pearson, Cambridge, all the tests that are listed there, as well as Duolingo, which again, all that information is on the English proficiency website. So check that out to see the exempted countries and all of the information regarding English proficiency requirements. And then last, but certainly not least, if you're thinking that Ryerson could be the best fit for you, then please continue to engage with us. Virtually visit our campus, come to our student sessions, hear from us. We really want you to figure out if Ryerson is the best fit for you. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And we're hoping it's the best fit for you, but these are some of the different tools that can help you make that decision if it is the best fit for you. To start, we have our Ryerson at Home website, which is such an amazing website where we host a number of different things, such as our open house sessions. So ryerson.ca/at-home is where you can go to check out a number of different initiatives, such as our Meet Our Recruiter. So if you want to talk to me a little bit more, you can come to one of my sessions or one of my colleagues' sessions. If you want to meet a current student, it's always so amazing to hear some of those real world perspectives. You can book a meeting with a current student on the Ryerson at Home website. We host a number of different webinars with some of our faculty members. So if you're interested in the Faculty of Science, on Tuesday, I will be hosting a session with our Faculty of Science all about co-op in the Faculty of Science. I would love to see all of you there. So check out the Ryerson at Home website to register for any of those sessions. Check out the Ryerson at Home website to also check out our virtual tour. We have 2 types of virtual tours. One is guided automatically. A little avatar pops up of one of my coworkers, Franco, and he takes you through the campus tour at the speed which you desire. So if you want to flip through it really quick, you can do that. But it's a guided tour through our virtual avatar. If you're more inclined to do a campus tour with a face-to-face interaction, we have that at Ryerson, which is really great. We offer guided virtual campus tours featuring our amazing roster of student ambassadors, both our international student ambassadors and our national student ambassadors. They're really lovely and they are so willing to share their personal experiences with you. So if you have questions about programs or experiences or clubs, they bring all of that to the table and would be more than happy to share those experiences with you. We have tons of tour dates available, but one I specifically wanted to highlight today is we do have a post-open house Saturday tour. We don't always offer tours on Saturday, so this one's a little bit special. So we do have a Saturday tour tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can register for that on the Ryerson at Home website, or you can check out all the different tour times that we do offer on the Ryerson at Home website. Another great way to engage with us to ask your questions is through our Service Hub. We have an amazing roster of client service ambassadors through our Service Hub. So you have questions about OSAP, admissions, or enrollment, you can check that out. They have a live chat. You can interact with them over the phone. You can email them. They are literally everywhere and they are so helpful. So if you have questions or further questions, you can either connect with our office, the student recruitment office, or you can connect with our amazing friends in the Service Hub. Now, as Jake mentioned at the top of this hour, today is the last session, or this is the last virtual open house session. So we have been offering a virtual open house starting 2 weeks ago, or last week, I should say, and this is the last session. The majority of our open house sessions were recorded. Not all of them were, but the majority of them were, and they will be posted to the Ryerson at Home website shortly. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you discover a program and you're thinking, wow, like this totally could be the best fit for me, if you check out and watch some of these recorded sessions, you'll actually hear from the faculty members and a lot of students who are currently in the program all about that program. So you can get that information. And then when you're on the Ryerson at Home website, you can see if any of those programs are offering some additional sessions as well. As I mentioned earlier too, handbooks. Yes, I know things are a little bit different. Some of you might be completely virtual. Some of you might be in and out of school. So you don't have the same opportunity of getting that physical admissions handbook that you might have in the past. We would love to supplement you with that opportunity. So you can either go to the website that's listed right here to request an admissions handbook. You can either get a PDF copy. So if you're dying to open it right now, like literally this second, you can absolutely go to that website and do that with a PDF copy, or you can request a physical copy be mailed to you and we will absolutely mail it to whatever address that you'd like to give us. So I always love the handbook. I love the physical handbook. I actually still have a couple of copies of my old admissions handbooks when I was making the application process. So definitely check it out because it has a little bit of information about literally everything we have here at Ryerson. So a great guidebook to help you with your admissions journey and process. We are also hosting some out of province information sessions. So if you're watching and joining us from an out of province location, you might want to check out one of these information sessions that we will be hosting. So I myself will be at the Quebec session, the Atlantic Canada session, and the Western Canada session. Oh, and the Northern Canada session. So I'll be at a lot of them, and I hope to see some of you at them as well. My amazing colleagues within the student recruitment department will be at the other ones, and we can talk about specific requirements for your province. So we'd love it if you joined us. And we'd also love it if you stayed connected with us. All of our social media handles are at Ryerson. We're on literally everything, as we know you are. Our Instagram is really great because we post like deadlines, we do student takeovers. Anytime we have a really cool guest on campus, we feature them, or previously I should say, when we had guests on campus, or if we do virtual guests, we feature them on the Ryerson account. So for example, we had Michelle Obama on campus a couple of years ago. She was doing a talk with the Economic Club of Canada, and the president of the Economic Club of Canada, her name is Rhiannon, and she's actually a graduate from our Arts and Contemporary Studies program. So great to see our alumni connecting with some, pretty recognizable faces here on the Ryerson campus. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that was a lot of information, so that's why the Q&A is open, and we would love to take your questions. We'd love it if you joined us for any of those upcoming virtual sessions, but most foremost, we just hope you continue to stay safe and connect with us, and hope you have a great rest of your day. So that's it for me. I will pass it off to you, Jake, who will close this session out. Bye, folks.
All right, thanks so much to Sam and all of our people answering questions on the back end for such a great session. We're now going to shut down our audio and video, meaning you won't be able to see or hear us. But as Sam mentioned, we will still be online until the end of the hour to answer any of those questions that come through the Q&A. So feel free to submit those questions through the Q&A pod until the end of the hour. And I encourage you to make note of any answers to your questions before the webinar ends, because that will not be part of any recordings or anything like that. So on behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today. And we hope that you and your loved ones are happy, healthy, and safe. Take care.